Dear teachers and classmates, good day. I am Fazlak Hassan from Group 11. It's my great pleasure to represent the team today to deliver this presentation on urgent climate action, a multidimensional data analysis. Climate change has evolved into a pressing global challenge, and SDG 13 explicitly calls for immediate global collaboration. Next, I'll walk you through the current climate landscape, its far reaching impacts, and the advancement in energy transaction, all backed by concrete data. First, let me introduce our dedicated team members. Zhu Yunyo led data collection. Shin Yage oversaw content organization. I took charge of data analysis and video production. Tasnim Hakim crafted the copywriting, and Tang Shi handled result formatting. It's through our seamless division of labor and collective efforts that this comprehensive data analysis came to fruition. The global climate is currently grappling with four critical challenges. Global temperatures are rising at an unprecedented pace. Carbon dioxide emissions keep surging. Extreme weather events are growing more frequent, and progress of renewable energy development remains sluggish. These intertwined issues underscore the urgency of global action, as emphasized by SDG 13, also the core force behind our research. Here is a mind map showing the five major climate topics we will discuss today. One is global temperature rise, another is carbon dioxide emissions. An important one is extreme weather events, sea level rises, and renewable energy and waste trends. This chart vividly illustrates the global temperature trend from 1850 to 2023. Before the early 20th century, temperatures remained relatively stable with minor fluctuations. They started to rise gradually between from 1920 and 1970. Post 1980, the warming rate accelerated dramatically with temperature anomalies spiking sharply. The latest data indicates that the current global temperatures are approximately 1.1 degree above pre-industrial levels, making the hottest period on record, providing irrefutable evidence of sustained and accelerating global warming. The dataset outlines global carbon dioxide emissions by regions from 1960 to 2022. Prior to the mid 20th century, Europe and North America dominated global emissions. Entering the 21st century, emissions from Asia, including China, India, and other nations, surged, making Asia the world's largest emitting region. While emissions in Europe and North America have stabilized or declined, global total emissions continue to climb, remaining at historical highs since the early 2000s, with the emission gap between regions widening steadily. The graph reveals that since the mid 20th century, global average temperature, land temperature, and annual maximum and minimum temperatures have all risen sharply. Notably, extreme low temperatures are warming the fastest, and land areas are heating up more rapidly than oceans. This trend clearly demonstrates that climate change not only elevates average temperatures but also intensifies the frequency of extreme temperature events. This chart depicts change in global average sea level from the late 19th century to the 2023 using two methodologies: tide gauges, blue line historical data, and satellite observation, green dots recent high precision data. From 1880 to 1930, sea levels rose slowly between 1930 and 1990. The upward trend became consistent after satellite observations were introduced in the early 1990s. The rate of sea level rise accelerated significantly. To date, global sea levels have risen approximately 200 to 250 millimeters, about 8 to 10 inches during the observation period, with the upward momentum showing no signs of abating. The charts trace the evolution of global electricity demand from 1990 to 2025. Global electricity demand has soared, driven primarily by China and other Asian countries. Post 2000, China's electricity consumption skyrocketed, establishing it as the world's largest electricity consumer. Projections indicate that by 2025, Asia will account for half of the global electricity consumption, with China alone contributing one third. Meanwhile, the share of electricity consumption in the United States and OECD Europe has been on a steady decline, reflecting the surge in energy demand fueled by Asia's rapid economic development. This data projects waste generation across regions from 2016 to 2015. In terms of total volume, waste generation will continue to grow in all regions. East Asia and the Pacific will become the largest contributors, rising from 468 million tons in 2016 to 704 million tons in 2050, with South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa experiencing the fastest growth. In per capita terms, North America will remain the highest, reaching 2.50 kg per person per day by 2050. Per capita waste generation is on the rise across all regions, even in those with currently low levels. Synthesizing all the data analysis, we draw 5 key conclusions. First, climate change is accelerating at an alarming rate. Second, emissions from human activities remain persistently high. Third, extreme weather events are becoming increasingly frequent. Fourth, the development of renewable energies urgently needs to be expedited. Fifth, global cooperation is indispensable for achieving SDG 13. Faced with these challenges, only through collective efforts of countries worldwide, accelerating energy transition and strengthening environmental protection measures, can we effectively address the profound impacts of climate changes. That concludes our team's presentation. Thank you all for your attention. If you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to engage with us. Thank you.
Right now, we're facing a man-made disaster of global scale. Our greatest threat in thousands of years, climate change. If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon. The world's people have spoken. Their message is clear. Time is running out.
The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere now is 50% higher than it was in 1900. And not only are we piling in more and more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, but we're chopping down the forests of the earth at a great rate. And the forests themselves are the most efficient consumers of carbon dioxide that there are on Earth. We're going to destroy the ground because the soil of a rainforest isn't very good. We are actually tampering with the climate of the Earth and with the very atmosphere that we breathe. When we talk about the disappearance of the ozone layer, we don't know what will happen when the ozone layer goes. The world has become so fragile that we cannot subject the Earth to the tortures we can now inflict upon it. When we talk about the greenhouse effect, we're talking about something that affects the entire Earth. And these problems are life and death problems. They go to the root of the viability of the planet itself. So if there's one thing that is biologically certain about the human species, is that it is a human species, one species.
If we don't stop the destruction of our natural world, nothing else will matter. Simply put, if we don't protect nature, we can't protect ourselves.
The only way we can solve a problem is by a human solution. Never can we sit back and wait for miracles to save us. Miracles don't happen. Sweat happens. Efforts happens. Thought happens.